All right. Good morning, everybody. So, today we are going to be talking about inspirations from the Harlem Renaissance. And we're going to be making some connections from a few people that were super influential during this time to society today. Okay? And you're going to identify some of those key things, what they did and what they were known for to music, art, and literature that you listen to, read, and notice today. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started, and let's get you guys to open your history journals, and let's go ahead and make a KWL chart. So a KWL chart is what I know about the topic already, what I want to know about the topic, and what I've learned at the end of this lesson. Okay, so what I know. So an example that I can type in for that, or what I can write in my journal if I were sitting in your seat right now, is what I already know about the Harlem Renaissance, what I already know about an important historical figure during this time, and so on. What I want to know about this topic is maybe a question. Let's write maybe a question. For example, what is the Harlem Renaissance? Maybe some of you don't even know of it and never heard of it before. That's okay. You guys can go ahead and write whatever you want, and then don't even worry about what I learned part. Just forget about that right now. We'll come back towards the end, and we'll fill that out together. Okay, so wait, what is the Harlem Renaissance? I know some of you guys are trying to kind of explore this topic right now and understand it better, so let's go ahead and read what it is. An African American cultural movement of the 1920s and 30s centered in Harlem that celebrated Black traditions, the Black voice, and Black ways of life. So, what's the significance for this? It was pretty much the turning point for Black cultural history, and it helped African American writers and artists gain control over the representation of Black culture and experience. So, pretty much how it all started was the Great Migration of African Americans to northern cities from the South. They wanted to be free, they wanted to have a voice, and they wanted to live their life, so that's why they migrated north. So pretty much two major causes for their move was the Jim Crow segregation laws of the South, and the second one is the start of World War I. Okay? So next, the first person we're going to look at is Zora Neale Hurston. So, Zora Neale Hurston was born January 7th, 1891, and died January 28th, 1960. She was an influential American author, anthropologist, and filmmaker. She published research on hoodoo. So, pretty much hoodoo is just a different form of voodoo, and it's a mixture of various African American religious practices that she combined together to write about and to share with the world. And one of her famous works of work that just kind of made her popular and really out there was Their Eyes Were Watching God. So it's about a young girl coming into womanhood and ready to take charge of her own destiny. So how does that kind of influence us today? So she was a revolutionary in helping protect rights of African Americans through her writing, which is really interesting. And then this was a quote by her: "Those that don't got it, don't show it. Those that got it, can't hide it." And I absolutely love that quote by her. Next person, we have Langston Hughes. He was born February 1st and died May 22nd, 1967. And he was an American poet, social activist, novelist, playwright, and columnist. He was amazing. He did it all. So he was a poet of rhythm and music, and really just threw jazz into his music. And his most famous poem today that kind of got him out there is Harlem. And then his influences for today is that he had a strong sense of racial pride. So through his books, poetry, plays, he promoted equality and condemned racism and injustice, which pretty much helped shape American literature, politics today, and celebrating African American life and culture. All right. Our last person we are going to be looking at today is my famous Louis Armstrong. So he is an American trumpeter, composer, vocalist, and actor. But he was most famous for how he transformed jazz. So he is that man that sings that awesome song, What a Wonderful World. So I'm going to go ahead and play that for you just right here. So you can kind of get
I see trees of green. I see them blue for me and you.
All right, so since we got a little snippet of his amazing voice, you guys can go ahead and go back to that later and listen to him and kind of get a feel of his amazing jazz influences. But his impacts on music and society today are amazing. So 30 years after his death, as a black man living and working in a segregated society, so segregated means separated, so just when blacks were separated from whites, they weren't allowed to do everything the same. He symbolized the civil rights struggle that was part of the ever-changing America where we live today. Okay, so that's Louis Armstrong. And tomorrow we are going to be going over what specific influences each of these people had on art, literature, and music that you are all interested in today.